The year 1000, when explorers connected the world and globalization began, by Valerie Hansen. Globalization may seem like a modern phenomenon, but the year 1000 marked a significant turning point in world history as new trade routes connected distant regions and cultures, laying the foundation for the interconnected world we know today. Valerie Hansen's book, The Year 1000, explores this early era of globalization, revealing how the pioneering of these pathways had a profound impact on societies and individuals across the globe. One of the most notable events of the year 1000 was the Viking voyages to the Americas. Led by Leif Erikson, these expeditions established the first known European presence in the New World, with settlements like L'Anse aux Meadows in Newfoundland, Canada. Although the Viking settlement at L'Anse aux Meadows lasted only about a decade, the Vikings may have continued to visit the Americas for lumber and other resources even after abandoning the settlement. The Vikings' journey connected pre-existing trade networks across the Americas with those of Europe, Asia, and Africa, enabling objects and ideas to travel around the world for the first time in history. The book also highlights the existence of extensive trade routes within the Americas prior to the Vikings' arrival. The Maya city of Chichen Itza, located in the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, served as a major hub, connecting regions as far north as Chaco Canyon in New Mexico and as far south as Colombia. The region of Mesoamerica, which includes parts of Central America such as Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama, was also part of this trade network. Evidence of long-distance trade can be seen in the presence of exotic goods like turquoise, macaw feathers, and even chocolate in Chaco Canyon. Intriguingly, the book suggests that the Maya may have encountered Norse explorers, as evidenced by paintings in the Temple of the Warriors at Chichen Itza, depicting light-skinned, blonde-haired individuals. While the idea remains controversial, it raises the possibility of cross-cultural interactions between the Maya and the Norse. Moving to the other side of the world, the book examines the role of the Vikings, or the Rus, in establishing trade routes and settlements in Eastern Europe. The Rus, a mix of Scandinavian, Anglo-Saxon, Frankish, and Slavic peoples, ventured into the river valleys of Eastern Europe, trading furs and slaves with the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic world. Their activities transformed the economy of their Scandinavian homeland and had a profound impact on the development of Eastern Europe. One of the most significant consequences of the Rus' presence in Eastern Europe was the conversion of Prince Vladimir, the leader of the Rus Confederation, to Byzantine Orthodox Christianity in 988 or 989. Vladimir's decision to adopt Christianity reshaped the religious landscape of Eastern Europe and Russia, establishing close ties with the Byzantine Empire and setting the stage for the rise of the Russian Orthodox Church. This decision marked a critical step in the formation of the Christian world, as Vladimir's realm had a population of 5 million people at the time. The book also delves into the complex religious dynamics of the year 1000, as rulers across Europe and Asia grappled with the decision of which faith to adopt for themselves and their subjects. The conversion of rulers like Harald Bluetooth of Denmark to Roman Christianity and the Seljuk Turks to Islam highlights the strategic considerations behind these choices, as monarchs sought to align themselves with powerful neighbors and gain access to literate clergy who could assist in governance. The rise of Christianity and Islam during this period led to the formation of distinct religious blocs, with people increasingly identifying with larger groups beyond their local communities. This sense of shared religious identity played a crucial role in shaping alliances, trade relationships, and conflicts in the centuries that followed. The book also explores the economic and social consequences of globalization in the year 1000. The demand for luxury goods like furs and slaves drove the expansion of trade networks, with cities like Constantinople and Baghdad serving as major centers of commerce. The influx of silver coins from the Islamic world to Scandinavia and the Rus territories, in exchange for furs and slaves, transformed the economies of these regions. However, globalization also brought challenges and tensions. The presence of wealthy foreign merchants, such as the Venetians in Constantinople, often led to resentment and violence from local populations. The massacre of the Latins in 1182, in which thousands of Italian merchants were killed, underscores the fragile nature of these cross-cultural interactions. The Crusades, which began in the late 11th century, further complicated the relationship between the Christian and Islamic worlds. While initially launched to support the Byzantine Empire against Muslim enemies, the Crusades ultimately weakened Constantinople and contributed to the decline of the Byzantine Empire. The Fourth Crusade, in particular, dealt a devastating blow to Constantinople, as Western European forces sacked the city in 1204. In Africa, the book examines the role of Africans in the trade that linked them to other continents. Two-thirds of the gold entering Europe and Asia before 1492 came from West Africa, and the number of slaves who left Africa for the Islamic world between 800 and 1800 rivaled the total number shipped across the Atlantic. The book includes the fictional tale of an East African king who became a Muslim after being captured and sold into slavery in the Islamic world. While this story is not historically accurate, it illustrates the complex dynamics of the slave trade and the spread of Islam in Africa. The book also highlights the importance of African brokers in bringing slaves from the interior to coastal ports, where they were sold to foreign slavers. The book explores the rise of powerful African states like Ghana, which thrived on the trans-Saharan gold trade. The king of Ghana possessed so much gold that contemporary accounts describe his court as being adorned with gold-embroidered cloths and collars of gold and silver for his guard dogs. The most famous of these African rulers was Mansa Musa, the king of Mali in the early 1300s. His caravan of 100 camel loads of gold dazzled the residents of Cairo when he passed through the city in 1324 on his way to Mecca. Mansa Musa's wealth was so immense that he single-handedly caused the price of gold in Cairo to fall, making him the richest man in the world at the time. Moving to Central Asia, the book examines the role of mounted warriors in shaping the region's history. These skilled horsemen were the most powerful military force in Europe and Asia, and ambitious leaders used various methods to tap into their strength, such as forming armies of their own tribesmen, recruiting soldiers from other tribes, or forming armies staffed entirely by purchased warrior slaves. The book also explores the religious divide that emerged in Central Asia around the year 1000, with the region splitting between a Muslim bloc in the west and a Buddhist bloc in the east. This divide was marked by the Turkic Ghaznavid ruler Mahmud of Ghazna's rejection of a diplomatic overture from the Buddhist Liao dynasty in China, as he saw no common ground between their faiths. The Liao dynasty, along with other Buddhist states like Japan and Korea, shared a belief in the impending end of the world in 1052, based on Buddhist prophecies. In preparation for this apocalypse, they buried offerings and created libraries of Buddhist texts carved on stone tablets to ensure the survival of the religion. In Southeast Asia and the Indian Ocean, the book examines the thriving trade networks that connected these regions long before the arrival of European explorers. The book describes surprising journeys such as the migration of Malayo-Polynesian peoples from the Malay Peninsula to Madagascar, some 4,000 miles away, and the extensive voyages of Polynesian navigators across the Pacific using traditional wayfinding techniques. The Indian Ocean trade was driven by the demand for aromatics, spices, and other luxury goods in China, India, and the Islamic world. The book introduces the concept of temple states like Angkor in Cambodia and Chola in South India, where rulers derived legitimacy and power from their patronage of Hindu and Buddhist temples. The Chola rulers in particular used their naval power to project influence across the region, even launching an invasion of Southeast Asia to attack the rival Srivijaya Empire. However, the book suggests that this invasion may have been exaggerated and that merchant guilds, rather than rulers, were the driving force behind the region's trade. Finally, the book turns to China, which it describes as the most globalized place on Earth in the year 1000. China's extensive trade networks connected it to Southeast Asia, India, the Islamic world, and even Africa, with Chinese goods like silk and ceramics being traded for aromatics, spices, and other luxuries. The book examines the flourishing of maritime trade under the Song dynasty, which used revenues from taxing foreign trade to finance its wars and the lavish lifestyles of its emperors. It also explores the impact of globalization on Chinese society, with the spread of new ideas, technologies, and products transforming the lives of people at all levels of society. The book provides specific examples of the far-reaching effects of trade on Chinese life, such as the increasing use of aromatics in daily life. Imported fragrant woods, resins, and spices were used not only in perfumes and incense, but also in medicine, food, and drink. The wealthy elite took this to extravagant levels, with one man building warming rooms made entirely of aloes wood, a prized fragrant wood from Southeast Asia. The Song dynasty's prosperity was not limited to the elites, however. The book describes how even ordinary people could afford snacks and drinks flavored with imported spices at market stalls, and how the use of frankincense became so widespread that the government had to set artificially high prices and require large minimum purchases to reduce its oversupply. The maritime trade boom also transformed the economy of China's southeast coast, particularly in the province of Fujian. Farmers shifted from subsistence agriculture to cash crops and handicrafts, while others found work in mines, fisheries, and salt production. The ceramics industry, in particular, absorbed a large portion of the labor force, with massive dragon kilns employing hundreds or thousands of workers to produce high-quality porcelain for export. The book also explores the impact of Chinese trade on other regions, such as Japan and Java, where Chinese coins became the de facto currency in the 12th and 13th centuries. This demonstrates the deep integration of the economies of East and Southeast Asia long before the arrival of Europeans. The book concludes by reflecting on the lessons that the world of the year 1000 can teach us about globalization today, while acknowledging the vast differences between then and now, such as population size, technology, and knowledge of the world. The book argues that the fundamental human responses to the challenges and opportunities of a connected world remain the same. The strategies that worked in the past, such as learning about other cultures, developing innovative products, adapting to change, and seizing new opportunities, are just as relevant today. The book also reminds us that globalization has always produced winners and losers, and that the benefits and challenges of a connected world are deeply intertwined. The examples of successful adaptation and cultural exchange in the year 1000, such as the spread of religions, technologies, and ideas across vast distances, demonstrate the resilience and creativity of the human spirit in the face of change. At the same time, the instances of conflict, exploitation, and inequality serve as cautionary tales about the potential pitfalls of globalization. The book emphasizes the importance of remaining open to the unfamiliar and learning from others, even as we navigate the challenges of a rapidly changing world. It suggests that those who embraced diversity and adapted to new circumstances fared better than those who remained isolated or resistant to change. In conclusion, the year 1000 offers a fascinating glimpse into a pivotal moment in world history, when the seeds of globalization were sown through the pioneering of new trade routes and the spread of ideas, technologies, and beliefs across vast distances. By shedding light on this often overlooked era, The book invites readers to reconsider their assumptions about the past and to appreciate the enduring impact of the forces that shaped the world we live in today. The book's vivid descriptions of the people, places, and events of the year 1000 bring this distant time to life, making it accessible and engaging for a wide audience. At the same time, its analysis of the complex economic, social, and cultural dynamics of this period provides valuable insights for scholars and students of world history. Ultimately, the year 1000 is a testament to the power of human connection and exchange to transform societies and individuals alike. It reminds us that, despite the many differences between the past and the present, the fundamental human experiences of trade, migration, and cultural encounter remain constant throughout history. By understanding the roots of globalization in the year 1000, we can better appreciate the challenges and opportunities of our own interconnected world. The book encourages us to learn from the successes and failures of the past, to remain open to new ideas and perspectives, and to work towards a more inclusive and equitable future for all. In a world that is increasingly polarized and divided, the year 1000 offers a timely reminder of our shared humanity and the potential for cooperation and understanding across cultural and geographical boundaries. It is a call to embrace the diversity and complexity of our world and to recognize the enduring value of the global networks that have shaped human history for over a millennium.